This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
Right now at 5, RTV6 is following breaking news out of Avon. 2 people are dead after a pileup crash involving 10 vehicles, including a school bus. We have confirmed no students were on that bus, and the bus driver is okay. That pileup happened at Rockville Road and County Road 625 East this afternoon, and that intersection is now closed. That closure could impact school bus routes at this hour, according to Avon schools. Again, breaking news that we're following right now. 10 vehicles involved in a deadly crash that killed 2 people. A school bus was involved, but there were no students on the bus and the driver was not hurt. Right now, we are working to learn more about the victims and the cause of the crash. Now let's get you the latest on this Storm Team 6 alert day. We are tracking the potential for storms to move in this evening.
Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is here. And Kevin, what do we have to know for tonight?
Well, the thunderstorms right now have been in the northern portion of the viewing area most of the day. No severe storms at this point, but between us and the much cooler day tomorrow will come a cold front, and that will spark even more thunderstorms tonight. And there's the area of thunderstorms just northwest of Lafayette to around Monticello, Lake Schaefer, and Lake Freeman. That will cut through Logansport. All of this moving to the east and a little bit southeast, and I think will expand as we track this to the southeast. Do expect some 40-mile-per-hour gusts, maybe some small hail. It will reach nearly to Peru, Grissom Air Reserve Base, through Delphi and to Lafayette as it moves to the south and east over the next half hour to hour. Temperature in Indy, 84 degrees. Remember, the warmer it feels this afternoon, the cooler it will feel during the day tomorrow. There's your cold front pushing these showers, thunderstorms from northwest to southeast. The question is, how much will this fill in southwest of Indianapolis? This will go on into the early overnight hours. There's your slight risk for severe storms central and northern portion of the state. Damaging wind and large hail would be the main threats. Can't rule out an isolated tornado. We'll talk about some fall-like weather coming up.
It's horribly dark. I can't see anywhere where I'm going when I get home, get out of the car.
Well, you can't see much in this video behind us now, and that is because the street lights have been out on a major road on the way to Broad Ripple.
It's also right along the new Indigo Red Line route. RTV6's Stephanie Wade is asking the city and utility company why neighbors have been left in the dark for months.
Streetlights along College Avenue are out between 38th and 42nd Street. A neighbor tells us they've been out for a few months, and he can't seem to get Indianapolis Power and Light to turn them back on.
We have lights on, and then poof, one day the lights are gone, and then we're left out in the dark, literally and figuratively, as to what's going on.
Things get a little dark around this stretch of College Avenue. Jared Hall, like some of his other neighbors, have reached out to Indianapolis Power and Light, but have been met with some confusing responses. First, they told him the lights were out for red line construction, saying, quote, they needed to be disconnected temporarily for safety and construction reasons. Makes sense. Then, a month later, and construction now complete, they told him they, 1, either weren't notified of its completion, 2, the city could have decided not to restore them, or 3, there could be underground damage they weren't aware of. No matter the excuse, Hall just wants to be able to see and walk around safely at night.
That's all I want. I just want the lights back on so it's safer. You know, I've got a family, 3 kids, and my wife comes out at night too sometimes. And everybody around us, you know, we should feel safe out here and, you know, in our homes, in our neighborhood where we live.
Coming up at 6, what we've learned from Indigo and IPL after asking questions today. Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Thank you, Stephanie. And if you are ever concerned about your safety or the safety of your neighborhood and you cannot get answers, reach out to us. Email us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
I want to take you back out to the scene of the breaking news that we're following here at 5 o'clock. Our first live look at the scene right now. This is a crash, a pileup crash involving 10 vehicles that left 2 people dead in Avon. As we've reported, we have confirmed that no students were on a school bus that was involved in this crash. We've also learned the bus driver is okay. Now, this pileup happened at Rockville Road and County Road 625 East this afternoon. That intersection, as you can see, it is closed, and quite a few emergency vehicles are on scene, including police and the fire department. That closure could impact the school bus routes at this hour, according to to Avon schools, so expect some delays. Again, this breaking news that we're following, live pictures that you're seeing are first on the scene. 10 vehicles involved in a deadly crash that killed 2 people. We are working to learn the identity of the victims and learn how this happened, what led up to the events of this crash. We'll keep you posted here on RTV6 and on the RTV6 app. A child and 3 adults are dead after a boat capsized in White River in Morgan County late Monday evening. At this hour, another adult is still missing. The Indiana Department of Natural Resources says a large family was spending Labor Day on the river, picnicking and fishing. 7 people were on a boat when it capsized. DNR says they've recovered the bodies of a 6-year-old boy and 3 adults from the White River. The search for a missing man will continue until sundown. 2 people did make it back to shore. Investigators have not identified any of the victims yet. We'll continue to gather information. We'll bring you any new developments on the RTV6 app and on our website, theindychannel.com.
A mother is dead and her young child injured in a shooting on Indianapolis' northeast side early this morning. IMPD says the shooting happened in the 3300 block of Hovey Street just after 3 this morning. Officers found a woman and a small child at the scene, and police say medics took the woman to the hospital in critical condition, where she later died. Her identity has not been released at this time. Crews took the young child to another hospital to be treated for what officers are calling a graze wound. Police do not have any suspects at this time. If you have any info, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS.
A deadly crash at a West Side park. It killed 1 person and seriously hurt another. Metro Police were called to Riverside Park around 6:30 this morning. Police say they found a car that had crashed into a fence and a tree. It's unclear exactly when the crash happened, but police say the driver ran into what appears to be a construction area at the park.
And today, there are no reported issues with Red Line buses during its first true test during the morning commute. Indigo says there were no delays with Red Line buses. They had the promised 10-minute spacing between them. The agency tells us the Red Line buses were not as crowded as they were Sunday, but all of the buses had steady numbers of people, and many this morning during the commute hours were full. Tonight, Indigo also says the Red Line had 8,000 riders on opening day, which was Sunday.
Well, new Colts starting quarterback Jacoby Brissett has a new 2-year contract. The Colts signed Brissett to a new 2-year contract worth $30 million, ushering in the Brissett era. Brissett was in the final year of his rookie contract, and this move will give the Colts stability through the next 2 seasons. Brissett will take over for the now retired Andrew Luck starting this Sunday when the Colts open the season against the Los Angeles Chargers. Mayor Joe Hogsett has declared today as Andrew Luck Day in Indianapolis. The mayor is asking you to highlight the citywide impact of the 4-time Pro Bowl quarterback. You're encouraged to share your memories on social media with the hashtag #ThankYouAndrewLuck and by tagging the Colts as well. Luck retired a little more than a week ago. He had a major impact on and off the field. Luck partnered with Riley Hospital for Children and created the Change the Play program to teach kids around the state about proper nutrition and physical fitness. He also started the Andrew Luck Book Club, where he promoted the power of literacy and education to readers of all ages and abilities. Up next here at 5, where it's been and where it's heading, the devastation from Hurricane Dorian and the way Hoosiers will help those impacted by the deadly storm.
And thunderstorms, some strong, one just north of Logansport. That stretches toward Delphi and then back northwest of Lafayette. We'll track these storms, talk about others, and then a nice quiet stretch coming up.
City with more work to do.
Welcome back. You're watching RTV6 News at 5. Hurricane Dorian is now expected to approach the eastern coastline of Florida sometime later tonight as a Category 2 storm.
Right now, we're giving you a live look at Florida's east coast. Dorian may have weakened, but it has already left behind so much devastation across the Bahamas, killing at least 5 people. So here at home, states of emergency have been declared from Florida to Virginia. ABC's Elizabeth Herr is in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, with new information at this hour.
Hurricane Dorian on the move after wreaking havoc across the Bahamas. The destruction, deadly and historic. The Salvation Army so far estimating up to 13,000 homes destroyed. Disaster response teams from the U.S. now on the ground providing humanitarian assistance. This as millions of Americans from Florida and North Carolina remain under evacuation orders bracing for Dorian. Its impact already being felt in Florida.
Dorian's outer bands have already impacted a number of customers in our service area.
Leaving thousands in the dark overnight, sinking boats off the southern coast of Florida, grounding thousands of flights, and completely shutting down several airports across the state.
More days to go. The threat is not over.
In Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, residents are still boarding up and filling sandbags, with authorities warning, have a plan and be ready.
If you live in a residence that flooded over the last 4 years, you should evacuate your residence and move to higher ground and stay out of harm's way.
Here in Florida, the governor says while the current track looks encouraging for Floridians, he is still urging residents to stay patient and vigilant. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New Smyrna Beach, Florida.
The call for more Indiana Red Cross volunteers to support Hurricane Dorian relief efforts is now up to 28 people. Indiana Red Cross says 28 of its volunteers are in multiple states waiting to help people impacted by the storm. The organization says a key concern is that this is a slow-moving storm, that this could produce several days of dangerous weather in Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas.
Tonight, you will have the chance to weigh in on IPL's latest proposed rate increase. IPL wants the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission to approve a series of rate increases spread out over 7 years. Each year between 2020 and 2026, customers would see their bills go up between 0.8 and 1.3%. According to IPL's estimate, the total increase for you would be about $10.50 per year by 2026. The additional revenue would fund improvements to IPL's electric grid, which the company says would lead to shorter and fewer power outages. Tonight's meeting begins at 6 p.m. at New Augusta Public Academy on Roadbah Road. There will be another meeting a week from tonight at the University of Indianapolis. And right now, residents of a mobile home park who were told to pack up and leave can get help. People who live at the I-70 mobile home park reached out to RTV6 2 weeks ago, saying they were not given enough notice, answers, or resources. In some cases, residents need to move their actual homes, which they own, but they do not own the land beneath them. To help, the mayor's office and elected officials are holding a resource fair today. It goes until 7 p.m. at the United Steelworkers Hall on Addison Street. Resources like legal clinic services and housing assistance will be available.
New at 5, the Hoosier Lottery is turning over $312 million in profits to the state of Indiana this year. That's a jump of 2% from a year ago. The report presented to the Indiana Lottery Commission today shows that lottery ticket sales revenue grew about 6% to $1.34 billion in 2019. Lottery officials say $312 million is a record amount being transferred to the state, but it remains below the original goal of $410 million by 2018, set when the commission hired a private company in 2012 to run most of Indiana's lottery operations. Most of Indiana's lottery proceeds go toward reducing auto excise taxes and boosting pension funds for teachers, police officers, and firefighters.
New research reveals the global economy would see a $5 trillion boost if female entrepreneurs had the same funding as men. Working for you, our Scripps team goes to the experts to see how you can help close the gender gap. Lauren Lawrence knows getting a startup business to take off is not easy. She worked as a court reporter for 6 years, a job that required juggling a handful of different tools to coordinate with other reporters and proofreaders. She thought there was a better way to do that job, so she created the idea for Stenovate. It's a platform that simplifies the court reporting process. Lawrence is now part of a small percentage of female founders who got the funding they needed for their startup. According to the Boston Consulting Group, only 2.2% of venture funding went to women in 2017.
Barriers to that are simply because the people writing the check are not women.
Jessica Powell is the Director of Experiences for the Kansas City Startup Foundation. She says one way to close the gender gap in funding is to get more female investors in every city. Powell says another way for women to push past the barriers is to stick together by networking and having a mentor.
Hiring Hoosiers is an RTV6 effort to connect you to job opportunities and the education that it takes to get those jobs. Students are taking to the skies in hopes of becoming future pilots. In Greenwood at the Central 9 Career Center, students can be part of the Aviation Flight and Operations program. They focus on aviation technology, the history of the industry, and the career opportunities in this field. Instructors say there is a major need for pilots right now, so this is a great opportunity for students.
There are airlines right now that really are canceling flights because they don't have enough pilots. So it's vitally important to train a lot of pilots, and that pipeline to get them to the career field is pretty long. So anytime we can take off that to get them into the pilot seat is that much better.
Students can get a full semester's worth of credit for an aviation major. If they do enough flying, they can be a full year ahead in college.
Kevin Gregory joins us now with a look at our forecast.
I was just
changes
thinking
happening.
of the marriage of aviation and weather, right?
Yeah, you need the weather to know if you're going to take off.
Tied together. You won't be flying through some of these thunderstorms today. Let me just show you. And first, I wanted to show you this. Forgot for a second, but this is interesting. I've circled 4 storms there. One is off the coast of Africa on the far right. That's not a named storm yet, but may become a tropical storm. Then you've got Dorian, Fernand in the northwest Gulf, and then Juliet in the Pacific. So 4 different things going on right now. For us, big changes underway, marked by thunderstorms that are occurring now. That will open the door to this. Very pleasant conditions over the next 3 days. Temperatures will be in the 70s, and I shouldn't just emphasize 3 days because it will be longer than that we enjoy cooler temperatures. Here's the cold front. Back behind it, the much cooler air. Out ahead of it, the possibility of thunderstorms continues to grow. We had morning thunderstorms around. Those have faded in spots and now are refiring across what we would call old boundaries or areas where the thunderstorms diminished earlier. From Peru to Lafayette, there's the line of thunderstorms, non-severe at this point, but we'll keep our eye on these. Damaging wind, hail would be the main threats as these drop to the south and east, and I think we'll see more development. But notice how you have one storm move between Lafayette and Delphi, then another fire up right behind it, and we won't be done with that cycle until the cold front goes through this evening, and I think we'll see more activity come down into central and then southeast portions of the state. Temperature 84 in Bloomington, Columbus, and Indianapolis. To the north, temperatures in the low 80s. Won't be any of that in the remainder of the 7-day forecast. You'll see it'll be much cooler. Say hello to Simon. Simon says, be careful if you're walking this evening. Watch for some thunderstorms. He's in the shade. Temperatures in the low 80s with these scattered thunderstorms, especially north. Just want to remind you, as we talk about thunderstorms, our Storm Shield app is free for your Android or iPhone device. It is like a weather radio to your phone. Tomorrow, sunshine, temperature 74 at noon, maybe a few fair weather clouds in the afternoon, and temperature no warmer than about 77, well below our average high for this time of the year. That north wind tomorrow around 10 miles per hour. As we move to Thursday, we turn the page, but keep the same weather. Temperatures mid-70s, and we focus so much on high temperatures. Just want you to be aware how nice these overnight temperatures will be in the 50s on many occasions through the 7-day forecast. After tonight, rain chances are minimal next 7 days. 20% chance we'll see a shower or thunderstorm on Sunday.
Cooler, though. That's nice.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Kevin, for that. IndyCar driver Robert Wickens is moving closer to one of his biggest goals.
And a little more than a year after his racing accident in Pocono Raceway left him with a spinal cord injury, Wickens is still showing major progress in his recovery.
Wickens posted this video to Twitter. It shows him dancing with his fiancée, Carly Woods.
Since February of this year, Wickens has made it known that he wants to dance at his wedding. So in his tweet, he said, "It's amazing what you can learn when you goof off. Only 26 days to go."
Wickens posted this yesterday, so it's really only 25 days until his wedding to Woods.
And it looks like they're ready to go.
Yes.
It may be the fastest car on the planet that is not a race car. Just how fast this automobile got, it's a new record tonight.
Working for you.
Hello and a very good day to you. I'm Julie Grant with Court TV Live, and we're bringing you gavel-to-gavel coverage of a very sad murder trial happening in Ohio. Jury selection beginning this morning. A high school senior learned she was pregnant, but then hid the news from everyone close to her. What happened next is tragic. Prosecutors say that this woman, Brooke Skylar Richardson, caused the death of her full-term baby girl, and now she's on trial being accused of murder. We will have gavel-to-gavel coverage of this trial and all your other legal news right here on Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Julie. And you can stream Court TV live anywhere 24/7 at CourtTV.com.
If you are going 300 miles an hour in a car, chances are you are a race car driver.
But one automaker says one of its vehicles can eclipse the 300-mile-an-hour mark, and it's not an Indy car, NASCAR, or an F1 car.
Look at that go. Bugatti showed off the results it got from a modified Bugatti Chiron. The Italian automaker says the car went 304.8 miles an hour during a high-speed run on a German test track.
That is a record for a car not built for extreme speeds. We need to add that this is not the standard Chiron you can buy from the Bugatti factory for $3 million. This version has a modified car body and specially developed tires.
But the standard Chiron can top out at around 261 miles an hour, so it isn't exactly slow.
Or cheap.
Nope.
Neither one.
Very cool, though.
All new at 6 p.m. here on RTV6. A mom is raising concerns about conditions at a gym daycare. Why, she says, a loophole in the law is to blame here.
But first on the Now, Indy, a Gas City girl is still missing. The urgent search continues. What her father is saying tonight. You're watching RTV6.